Leeds United are in a little bit of a weird situation right now, with a lot of our attacking players being either injured or not here, primarily because we didn't really sign too many of them in the summer window. However, a little bit of conversation has been floating around Harry Gray at the moment because he's just past the age of 17, which means that he is legally allowed to sign a professional contract with a football club. Can be any football club because, I mean, whilst any other club would owe Leeds United compensation in the event that he were to leave, he can sign a contract wherever because he's not currently bound to any specific teams. But some people are a little bit worried about the situation because of some weird little bits and bobs that they're picking up on. So in this video, I'm just going to go through all of that and get a general idea of where we are with Harry Gray, what's going to go on going forwards, and ultimately what Daniel Farke said in his presser. So first off, we need to go by the fact that a lot of people are worrying about the Harry Gray thing because it was his birthday a few days ago. So people sort of assumed that, well, if he's going to sign a contract, he's going to do so on his birthday. Didn't necessarily happen, so it may be a little bit of time until that gets confirmed, but there was also a further little aspect in which Harry Gray blacked out his Instagram profile picture. Now, a lot of people will approach this and be like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but people have done a lot of reading into things by having a look at other situations recently where that happened in the transfer window. For example, I think it was Brian Mbeumo, blacked out all of his Instagram stuff, removed the club from his bio, all that kind of stuff, and managed to sort of say, look, I'm going to force a move, it's going to happen, fantastic. And the same thing has happened time and time again in transfer windows recently, where players have done that. And people have seen that Harry Gray's profile picture is now black and gone, uh-oh, he's not signed a contract, that's potentially a problem. For example, I currently have the press conference open on my second monitor and people are still shouting, the end of the Grey dynasty and stuff like that. However, not necessarily the case, because I'm going to run through what exactly is Daniel Farke said, what other outlets have gotten in terms of what's going on with the contract situation, and a little bit of information that I've been able to pick up myself, and let's dive into it. So, first off, in the presser, and I'm going to sort of quote him roughly here, I've not got it word for word because I was handwriting it, but he did his standard thing of, we only talk business when it's done, because he has always done that. He's always talked about players that are definitely done deals rather than doing speculation stuff. We're in positive negotiations, looking to build the squad for the future, which implies to me that you are looking to sign a young player rather than let a young player go, and also mentioned to expect positive news in the future. And he finished off the answer to that question by saying, not too far away that we'll have positive news. Now, a lot of people have looked at that and looked at the fact that he's not immediately said he's definitely signed a contract at Leeds United and said, well, he's probably on the way out then. But that's not the case because he's consistently said, expect some positive news. And the same sort of stuff has come from other media outlets. For example, the Leeds Press, who are occasionally on point, but will typically know the odd bit and bob, have said that the family are fairly happy with how he's going there. In addition to that, let's just double check and make sure that I've got the quote perfectly correct. He notes that Leeds are not worried about losing him just yet. He's set to sign it soon, and the Gray family are happy with his development at Leeds United and have no plans to take him out of the club at this stage of his career, despite interest from bigger clubs. The bigger clubs that are being named are almost exclusively Spurs. And it will primarily be Spurs because everyone's looking at the situation and going, well, Archie went there, therefore Harry must be. And it feels like one of those relatively lazy links that hasn't really come out of anywhere reputable. All of this sort of naysaying has primarily come from the fact that an Instagram profile picture has turned black, which, I'll be honest, could just be a case of he's turning it to that, build up a little bit of anticipation, goes to a Leeds one. You can say whatever you think on this situation in the comments down below. I'm a little bit curious as to where people are leaning on this one, but I think we'll be completely fine. Beyond that, I have talked to myself a few months back, someone who is relatively close to the situation, knows members of the family fairly well, and they also agree with what other outlets have been saying, that they are very, very happy with him hanging out at Leeds United. That Leeds United is probably the place to be right now because he's more likely to get minutes, more likely to get in the squad, as opposed to at Spurs, where they've got a hell of a lot of young attacking talent and he's not really going to play any football over there. It just makes sense for Harry Gray to remain at Leeds United for a bit and effectively do the same thing as Archie did. Get himself a contract where, if things go wrong and Leeds United get relegated, cool. He's got a way out and is able to play Premier League football. That makes sense from his perspective, maybe not from ours, so maybe that's something that we're avoiding putting in there, but it is something that absolutely will benefit the Gray family to do. And on the other side of things, Harry himself has the opportunity to be in front of thousands and thousands of fans. Every time he warms up, the stands will just sing his name. Harry, Harry Gray, Harry, Harry Gray, which is not the worst of things to have if you're a 17-year-old looking to build a career in football. That's pretty damn nice. So for me, when you're looking at this entire situation, I'm going to take a minute actually sort of discussing what's the situation in my opinion and where it's going to go. I think that contract gets signed. I think, to be honest, there's a chance that the contract already is signed. The reason Daniel Farke hasn't said, yeah, he's going to be a Leeds United player and a professional contract, is that if you say that and then something weird happens at the last minute, then you look like an idiot, to be completely honest. So you're going to just do the, yeah, there's positive sounds, negotiations are going well kind of thing. That just makes a little bit of sense. Makes sense from the club perspective to just give him not necessarily just straight up what he wants. It's not a blank check situation, but give him a very, very healthy contract for a 17-year-old footballer who has a lot of potential to break into the first team over the next 2 years, and he will stick around. And I think the fan base seeing this and saying, well, the business in the summer wasn't necessarily good enough, so very obviously we're not doing well enough right now, is a little bit on the overly depressive side, and will almost exclusively do harm to morale within the fan base, to maybe morale within the dressing room. I don't know how many people read the comments online, but it's not going to help anybody to just be screaming, well, that's that done then, and the season's finished. I don't understand that argument, and if that's the way you feel, go for it, but I think there is very, very little evidence to say that he's going to Spurs. I won't happily be wrong, but there's a chance that I'm wrong in this situation, and if I am, that'll be very, very upsetting. But to me, there isn't evidence there right now to say that Harry Gray is just going to leave. And I hope that every single person, if he does sign a contract, goes, okay, I was wrong. They won't, but we can hope that they do. Anyway, this was a relatively quick video that I'm recording in the middle of the presser because I didn't really have another video to put out today, so I figured I'd absolutely go for it. If you enjoyed, please pop a comment on it. Let me know what you think is going to happen with the situation. It's a very sort of curious thing. Subscribe if you haven't yet as well. That's massively appreciated. Or become a channel member. That's also absolutely wonderful. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. In addition to that, I've just forgotten to add, I'm going to keep up with asking this question in all the comments. If there is anything that you think I should change about the videos or points at which you switch off, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to improve those. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave that there. I hope you all enjoyed. And I will see you potentially tomorrow, potentially Saturday, we'll find out. Ta-ra.